This year, Motor Trend gave Pontiac the Car of the Year award for the 4th time. In fact, Pontiac's the only car maker ever to receive the Car of the Year award.
All right, welcome back to the old Fat Body GTO build. And first, I'd like to say thanks to all those that watched the last video, subscribed, commented. A lot of really good comments. A few shitty ones, but that's to be expected. I appreciate it. So on this one, we're gonna jump on the nose, which is right here. So the idea is we want to keep the center line that comes down the hood with the same V weave. So we'll have the V weave running in this way to match the hood. I think we'll end up having to put a seam here, which will be underneath, so you really won't see it that much. So we'll have a seam here. We'll end up having to put separate pieces on the end caps. And then right along this edge right here, there'll be a seam. But I don't think you'll really be able to tell it, as long as I make sure that I keep the weave going the same direction. But so we need to, God damn, this thing weighs a ton. We need to clean this thing up, and then we'll clean it up. We'll make a mold of it, and then hopefully with that mold we'll pull a carbon part. We will have to do a split mold, so the mold will essentially split here dead center. So we'll have a mold that goes this way and then a mold that goes this way. I can go through that with a little bit more detail once we get rolling on it. But yeah, so also for those that have the attention span of a gnat, and you got to get back to your TikTok doom scrolling or whatever it is, just go to this timestamp and you can just skip to the end and just, you know, bypass all the hard work, blood, sweat, and tears that went into this. And yeah, just to see how it finishes out. And for the rest of you who care about the process and actually want to see how this thing is done and see the process of it all, yeah, greatly appreciated. So if you want to go to that timestamp, go ahead. Now's the time. Go ahead. I'll wait. There. All right. So for the rest of you that stick around and that actually care about the process and want to see how this thing is done, do this one a little bit different. It's already done. So yeah, it's already finished. So I can still run, we're still going to run through and I'll show you the process of how we got here. But if you're watching this all the way through and you get to that timestamp that I indicated earlier, just go ahead and turn it off, because the rest of it's just going to be a bunch of shit. So yeah. So we're going to do this a little backwards. So I'll go ahead and I'll take a bunch of shots, play some music, do a little bit of montage. Airplanes, airport, what are you gonna do? Yeah, I'll take some video, do a little montage and show you how it turned out, and then kind of walk through how we got here and how, you know, the whole process. So let's take a look. right, so now that you've seen the finished part, complete, finished, installed and everything, but let's take it apart and I'll kind of go through it and see how we got there. So let's start by, so if we flip the part over, kind of go through what we ended up doing under here. It's a little dirty. I haven't cleaned it or anything like that, but first we had to put in this center support here to stabilize it because the whole nose was a little wobbly. We added on our mounting brackets here on both sides. All the headlight buckets are all carbon fiber. The clips, everything about it, every part that I could make is carbon fiber. Even the little brackets that we had to make in order to hold the grill down in place. I do want to still, I'm going to trim these bolts up. So that is the finished part, all done. Before we go into how we actually made this thing, I want to weigh these. So we're going to weigh the original nose and the original grills. I did already go ahead and weigh the buckets and weigh the headlights so we can add that to the original weight, or the original combined weight of the original nose. And then we'll weigh this one and see what the difference are. Okay, so the headlight buckets, we got 19.4 times 2, it's just 39 ounces. That equals out to 2.4 pounds. And then we have the headlights themselves. We got 4 of them, 23.2, which is 92.8 ounces, which equals out to 5.8. So we got a little over 8 pounds, 8.2 pounds. So if we add that to this number, basically 70 pounds, let's call it 70.49, I guess would be exact. So let's see what the other part weighs. All right, so we have 17.28. So we went from a 70-pound nose down to a 17-pound nose. So total savings of 53 pounds. Damn. The rest of the video is basically how we got there, starting right from the beginning. So if you want to watch that, cool, I appreciate it. If not, yeah, turn it off now. But thanks for watching, and yeah, let's start from the beginning. First, we're gonna strip it down, take the nose off, and then we want to strip all the headlight buckets out of here, get the grills out, take all the hardware off. All right, so now we got it stripped down. Let's take a little look. So like I was saying, there's not a lot that needs to be done, but there are a few little things to do in order to get the best mold possible. You know, little rock chips, like I was saying, you can see like that one there and there. A few little imperfections. You know, how this line is not really clean. Corner needs a little cleaning up, but a couple of the bigger things that I want to address is, so see like this bottom line, this is just from the factory. It's just rubber that just kind of splooged all over the edge right here, and they didn't really bother to clean it up. So I want to sand that all out, flatten it all out, go ahead and get rid of all the holes. We'll just do new mounting holes. And then on the inner side, this line right here is where the grill, basically where the grill stops. But as you can see, it's just kind of like just splooged all over the place again from the factory. But we want to just go ahead and create like a hard line right here where the grill is going to stop. Okay, so we've got it all sanded down. If you remember from the shot before, this was the bottom that was full of holes and all uneven and everything. So we went ahead and fixed that, straightened it out. You know, cleaned up our corners. Remember from before, this was all just that rubber splooge. So now we have a real clean edge that we can put our backing in. All right, so now that's ready for primer, but before I do that, I want to put it back on the car and just double check everything. So you can see now that on the corners, this kind of throws your eye off a little bit, the little sanding mark there, but the corners line up perfect. The body lines, everything lines up. Now we can see that we got all our alignments. The corner is perfect.
It was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
Yeah, so I think everything is ready and looking good, up to my level of perfection, which may differ from somebody else's, but for me, it looks pretty damn good. So now we'll pull the nose back off, prime that, sand that up to about a 600 finish, and then we'll clear coat that. And once we've clear coated, we'll sand that up to a 3000 finish. Then we'll cut, buff, polish, and hopefully we got a part that's ready for a mold. So I'll see you in what, like 15, 20 seconds? Let's go. I think we're done. So I think it's polished up enough that we can pull a mold from it. Let's go ahead and dry fit it and see how everything lines up. Look how that high point comes together with the hood. And the side over here. Nice. And this side. So we have all our backing in place. I didn't want to show all that. You guys have seen it on many of the other videos. But yeah, so all our backing is in place. We are going to start on this side first. This side is the dead center. And then I put these 1/8" washers here. So they will basically mark out where my holes are going to be for the split mold, plus give me a little space. And then I also have the wax little nubbies here, the alignment nubs. That way both sides, it'll only align one specific way and it'll line up perfect every time. And we've got our wax all the way around the perimeter. Also on the inside, all the way around on the inside, so it's all sealed up. So I guess there's nothing left to do but we'll slap on some PVA, orange tooling gel, and then fiberglass. And then when we're done, we'll be able to pop this side off. So for our fiberglass layer, we're going to start off with a veil, which is a 0.3 ounce, I believe it is. It's real thin. It's like a shear, but it bonds to the material really tight, no air pockets. And then we're also going to use a 12-ounce mat and then also a 12-ounce chop strand. So after a week or so of laying down fiberglass, we have finally come to a finish on making the mold. This side is still wet, as you can see with the gloss, but yeah. So tomorrow we will split this thing and see what we got. We'll cut like a real clean line all the way around the perimeter and sand it down so that we have a smooth edge. All right, it's time to split this thing and see what we got. Get rid of some of this backing out here. Give it a couple whacks with the old mallet, and then I kid you not, just a bunch of wiggling and this thing popped right off. Kind of just goes to show you the importance of Making sure you put a lot of wax down, and the PVA, as you can see here, this is kind of like what the PVA, how it comes off. You still need to give it a good soap bath, but and then we can go ahead and line them up and clamp these things together and get it ready to drill some holes. But check out that seam. I mean, you can barely see it. That's exactly what you want. Nice and tight, real clean. But it would just give this whole thing a quick bath, soap bath, get some of this filler wax out of here. All right, so let's go over the split of the mold just so you guys get a better understanding of how I do these. So if you remember from before, those 1/8" washers were here, which gave me a really good indication of the center line, the center hole for drilling and bolting these things together. But also I left this gap here, this little recess. I put gum tape there and then just molded around it. But this recess will allow me to put gum tape between them, like you see here, which allows the two parts to seal much better. That way I don't have any air leakage coming through the joint. So when I bolt these things together, it's airtight between the two parts. Now we'll go ahead and just lay out the rest of the carbon fiber. If you want to see more of the carbon fiber laying, it's a whole bunch of videos of already laying all this carbon fiber down, but these are just the last layers, the 12 ounce. And then we can seal this thing up and get it ready for vacuum. Which then leads us here. So we already went ahead and put the vacuum bag on. So a quick rundown of what we got going on. So obviously we have the vacuum, the pot, and our vacuum line to a 4-post manifold. Vacuum here and here, here and here. So the idea is that our perimeter here has our 1/2" resin line, one on this end, which will have a pot, and another one on this end, which will have a pot. So we got one line that goes all the way around that way, another one that comes from there and goes all the way around to this side, so that the resin will be pulled from the outside in. So you can see we made sure that our vacuum bag, we pushed it. I've already vacuumed it once. I'll pull it down here in a minute, but it's important to make sure that your bag gets all the way down into all these crevices. Make sure it's nice and tight in there. And then we flip on the old vacuum and pull her down. Now you can see it real tight on the mold. You don't want any bridging. It's nice and tight in there. And we are at full vacuum. So if we turn the vacuum off, I don't want to lose any more than 2 PSI over 10 minutes. I've already done the test, and yeah, it doesn't move. I think it moved a 1/2 PSI over like 15 minutes. So I know that I got a good seal. And then the next step is to mix up our resin, put one on either end, start the infusion. So as the resin starts, you constantly checking on everything, just making sure everything's working out right. I mean, this is over the course of an hour and a half or so. If I forward and rewind it like you see here, you can kind of get a better visual of what it's doing. All right, so it's the next day, and it's time to see if we made something that is usable. So peeling all the consumables out of here, getting rid of them, flip this thing over. Drove a few wedges in there just to create a little bit of separation between the two parts. And then basically just prying around all the corners, using the air to blow it in there. And surprisingly, this thing actually popped up probably easier than any of the other parts that I've done. So pulling this thing out, I was pretty happy with the way it turned out. There's a couple little cleanup spots to do, but all in all, pretty happy with it. It looks really good, nice and clean. And that's about the end of the video. So thanks for those that watched it all the way through. Hit that subscribe and like, and yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Thanks again. Really? You didn't have an extra 20 minutes? You had to fast forward all the way to the end just to see the finished product? Don't care about the hard work, the blood, sweat, and tears of the last 3 months making this thing?